educated enough to realize that there were people in countries
Having
that dress
different-
differently.
Yeah,
It was
different-
ignorance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And ignorance does breed fear, and you mock it before you understand it. And so, when I discovered that really hurt. But, but we've come a long way, as we all of us have.
Well, I came here married with my husband. Well, actually, Anil came here about 5 months before I did. He came, to do his master's. And I remember those 5 months was hell. He came here on the day of our first anniversary. So the first anniversary, I was bawling my heart out and he was crying, so it was not a very pleasant experience. But after 5 months, eventually when we got the visa, that was another big issue, right? Will we get the visa? But while I was on the plane, or I was at the airport, I remember being conflicted with so many emotions. I was very excited to, go meet my hubby finally. But I was really sad because I was going to leave my parents and my in-laws and my brother. And I was nervous. I'm like, okay. All this time I had, my parents and my in-laws, cooking food and, taking care of a house. And I was like, I have to do that all by myself. But it's just, I think, and I think all of you can relate to this, it's just this huge array of emotions. And just trying to get them all under handle itself was a huge challenge. But, I remember, I was way overweight as far as, not my weight, but as my luggage. Because I got everything from a cooker, because I said exactly, way overweight in my luggage, not too heavy. But I was getting everything in my luggage, right down from a cooker, a pressure cooker. I said I cannot cook without that. So I had a pressure cooker. I had plates, and as if you don't get plates in America, but it was just that, and the masalas and everything. I was just ready to start, settling down in the house. And but anyway, so the end result was I had these huge suitcases, and I remember landing at JFK in New York, and I was late coming out of the plane, and my suitcase was away from the carousel. It was stuck away in a corner. So I was trying to get that suitcase, and of course it's huge, and I was smaller than I am now. So I was trying to get the suitcase out and put it on the cart. It was an impossible situation for me. And I looked around, and by the time everybody else had left, because everybody else got their luggage and went away, and I was like, oh my God, because I couldn't just leave that suitcase there. It had my pressure cooker, for crying out loud. So I said, okay, exactly. I couldn't cook for my husband. So anyway, so I remember this guy, brooming, cleaning up the place. I was like, finally, I see somebody. I'm like, I was nearly in tears at that time. I was like, excuse me, sir, I have a problem. Can you please help me, get the suitcase up? He did not even bother looking. Ain't my job.
Oh, no.
And he just went away. I was like, what? and then I was getting desperate. I said, pulling again, moved an inch but couldn't do much. And to make a long story short, there was somebody else who came along, thank God, and who finally helped. He just picked it up with one hand and put it on the cart. And I finally, went and met my, my husband was totally frantic. He's like, where's my wife, because I was the last person to come out of the terminal. And, but it, and then if you hear so much about New York and, so excited, but of course we were driving to Washington, D.C., so I didn't really see much of the city. But I remember, when we were in the car, looking at the landscape, and I was like, oh, this is New York? It was not very impressive at that time. Maybe it was my jet lag, I don't know. But, and then, on the way we stopped at a McDonald's, and Anil was like, honey, you got fried chicken here. I'm like, oh yeah, fried chicken, I'm hungry, after all the plain food. And then you had these little nuggets, and I'm like, where's my fried chicken, This is not fried chicken. So, as most of us go through the process of food, settling down, and I'm sure all of you have also experienced that, everything is done the opposite way here. Right down from driving, which is done on a different lane, as you know, to the switch. I don't know if you've had the experience,
The light
to
switches.
even opening the door, everything is the opposite way. It was just amazing. And actually, Vandana, just to kind of get to that topic where you said the tap, you open the tap. See, I also had that language problem, whereas, I was, we were in an apartment, and we had a problem with the bathroom tap, as we call it. That's what we know it. So I called the maintenance people, and I say, excuse me, there's a problem with the bathroom tap, so could you send somebody down? So I remember, what? I said, the bathroom tap, so they had no idea what I was talking about. And I was like, the thing that the water comes from. What else do you say? I was like, nal bolo me. That wouldn't be, talking in Hindi wouldn't have helped. So I'm like, that thing, the water, where the water comes from. And then she's like, oh, you mean the faucet? Faucet, yes, exactly. That's what it is. So that we're used to, I think, British English and so many, like Laurie, and I'm sure. So language, yes, definitely a challenge, even if you speak English, I think. It's all these little idiosyncrasies, right? These little words. Yes, exactly. So trucks and lorries and, cookies. Yeah, exactly. And the cookies and the biscuits and the pastries and I love the Indian pastries, and when they're talking about pastries here, it was like, not the same thing, because they're talking about strudels and danishes. So, but overall, I think for me, the most exciting thing was I was, finally back with Anil, because those 5 months was, really a long time.
Yeah, in terms of challenges, I would say, when I came here, there were not as many Indians. We were living in Virginia, in suburban Virginia, and there were some Indians, but not as many as there are, of course, today. And I remember once walking home from school. It was about a 20-minute walk, and it was close enough that we didn't ride the bus. And walking home, it was again winter and snowing, my luck. And then there was an American boy, I still remember his name, John. Won't say his last name, no.
John, if you're watching the show.
And I remember here, we were a bunch of us, luckily, there were 3-4 other friends, Indian, we were all walking back, and him throwing snowballs at us and saying, you need to go back to your country, Why are you guys here? Foreigners, go back to your country. And I was, again, very very shocked and saying, I didn't understand why did he saying this, it's not like we came here to live. At least that was not what I thought. Thought we were here for a little while, we were going to go back to India, And so again, I never told that to my dad. I think I was the same thing. I was thinking he would be thinking, oh, my daughter, what did I put her through? And I just felt like, okay, just block it out. Some bad, mean boy, just forget it. Forget it. And then, and I think again, that's something that you can either dwell upon that or you can just ignore it and move on.
Take it as part of your growing up process.
And you know that there are people like this everywhere in the world. And in general, we have a very accepting society that we live in.
And I think that way we're very blessed when we are in a country like US, because it is much more open, I think, than most of the other countries that we know of. I think thanks to the Native Americans and the others who kind of set a precedent for us. And
yes, because when we speak about assimilation, we are talking about our perspective, but of course the perspective of Americans and natives in this country, they have a major role to play in order for us to assimilate, and they are very tolerant of religions, languages, cultures, and I think because of their general history of immigration,
that's true,
that we have been fortunate to be able to come and live pretty much how we want to live.
That's true, and I think just coming to another country doesn't mean that you have to lose out on your roots and that you have to stop following your culture, because that's not true, as most of us know. But we are trying to keep a balance, between one culture and the other culture, and trying to take the good out of both, and applying that to our lives. And hopefully, and I'm sure we most of us have been here several years now, and I think we finally feel comfortable enough to say that yes, we are happy here.
And Sutapa, I think I'm sure as the viewers, I'm sure each
Yes.
one of us has a story to tell, because
Absolutely.
assimilation and settling down is such a personal, individual experience.
Absolutely.
And I really appreciate all of you coming and sharing your experiences with
Absolutely.
us.
Thank you very much. I mean,
You're
you
more than
know, it's very
Thank you.
it's very enlightening to hear all these different experiences. And
Yes.
yeah. Stress is a big factor of our lives, and it is universal. It affects all of us equally.
I think it's today's lifestyle. It sort of lends itself to stress.
That's true. See that frown on your face? Those little lines? That's all because of stress.
For me, one of my big causers of stress is running late. Just when you really want the kids to listen, they won't put their shoes on, don't put their jackets on, and don't get
tell
in
me
the
about it.
car. And
Yes.
I'm not sure what to do. Sometimes I try to just calm down and say, it's okay if I'm a few minutes late.
Yes, that's true, because you know there's some things that you cannot control. Kids will be kids. Sometimes you run out of gas and all that fun stuff. So I think the idea is to focus on something that we can control. Call the person and let them know you're running late, and move on with it. Take
Focus
care.
on what needs to be done.
Yes, take care of the problem.
That's right. Another stress causer is just everybody having, things to do, and we
Yes,
need to do
and
them.
clamoring for your attention. Whether it's your family, your friends, or your
Husbands.
work. Yeah, husbands, big babies. But everybody is looking for this little slice of your time, which we don't really have. So what do you do, Vandana, when something like this happens?
I've started to sort of call it mommy time.
Mommy time.
At 8:30, lights off, and it's my time. That's it. Mom's time is over.
Yes.
It's time to be myself.
Be
And
Vandana.
whether I'm on the laptop or watching a movie or TV or just spending some time with my husband, that is a big stress reliever.
That's true. It's time to regroup and kind of refocus and get ready for the next day, I guess. Right?
What is something else that you do to get rid of stress?
One thing that I really love doing is putting on the music really loud. I love Bollywood music, it's just so much more fun. So I just put the music on loud and I cook. I love to eat, so I love to, create something different and just have fun with it.
Cooking is not my cup of tea. I do it because I have to, but for me, if I put some loud music, I need to clean house or simply just dance and get the kids involved too, and just get some exercise.
That's true, because dance is the best form of exercise we can have. So, and it's fun. Why not? I definitely recommend you guys try that. It's fun.
And sometimes I think when things really get down and out, maybe just take some time and count your blessings. I think we all have things to be thankful for.
Yes, especially our little ones, right?
Exactly, and a hug from them can be a big stress reliever too.
And I was just telling you, Rishabh, my oldest, he's the best hugger in the world. And Ranai, he'll just give you these sloppy kisses all over your face. And that just is so much of a stress buster.
I know,
really, I would recommend you try that.
Sometimes it helps to just have a positive outlook.
And a can-do attitude. I think that can take you places and hopefully diminish your stress.
Hopefully, yes. We've given you some tips to help you out as well in your lives. Now let's get some expert advice on relieving stress.
We'll talk to Aparna, who is a licensed psychologist. Till the next time, remember, it's my world.
It's what we make of it.
Think positive.